Shared responsibility with Towers press person Linda Hill, one of a handful of female press secretaries on the Senate side. She sees her role as working behind the scenes to make sure everything goes smoothly.
My job is to reflect and repeat Senator Towers' views and to give information on his behalf. And that what I do doesn't really come into it. What I think doesn't come into it. What I do, I don't even like my name used, because that's completely unimportant. Nobody cares what I think. People are only interested in what the chairman thinks.
For another press secretary, Henry Hicks, that kind of detached view has meant working at one time for a Democrat and then for a Republican. After 20 years in the news business, Hicks went to work for Florida's liberal House Democrat Claude Pepper. Then he switched to the Senate and Florida's conservative Republican Paula Hawkins.
And I consider that whomever the senator or congressman that I may be working for at the time is my client. I'm a professional public relations person. I have to avoid being with her because, for extended periods of time, because she'll win me over to her points of view, of whatever that is, and I have to maintain a discrete philosophical difference, because the minute that I lose my objectivity, and then I'm not able to provide competent advice to her.
He's a father figure in our office, and we have a lot of arguments, but we usually do it his way.
Anybody who wants that?
Henry can say what I do and do not think, and what I do and do not do. He's tried very hard to make me more senatorial. He has an image of what a senator is, and I don't know if I've fit into that category yet or not. I'm kind of impulsive and a scrapper, and I'd like to be a lot more impulsive than he requires me to be pensive and thoughtful, and I try to do both.
At this press conference engineered by Hicks, the emphasis was on the human side of Paula Hawkins, as she pleaded for a liver donation to save the life of a Florida girl. Getting Hawkins' message out to the public involves not only hundreds of calls and hundreds of press releases, but also a welcome helping hand from the Senate Republican caucus. In providing a communication service for all Republicans, the GOP group taped the press conference and fed it by satellite to local Florida stations free of charge. The Republicans also sent a cameraman with Hicks and Hawkins when they went to Pakistan, Thailand, and Turkey on a trip to gather facts about drug smuggling, again used by Florida stations free of charge. Though some may call this public relations and not news, Hicks defends the practice, calling the service an electronic version of a press release. It's all part of selling the client and keeping the client's name before the public.
Some people think that, that a press secretary is sort of a journalistic prostitute. I've never found that at all. I've never stopped reporting the news, and that's what exactly a press secretary does, except at times he becomes a handmaiden or a midwife, because what he does then is to broker the news between the news source, which is his senator or congressman, and the media. I regard what I'm doing as very much communications. I'm still continuing to spread the word.
There have been some press secretaries who are famous at spreading the words, who later became renowned in their own right. Pierre Salinger, for example. He went with John Kennedy to the White House, served as White House press secretary, later became briefly a senator from California, and now is a correspondent for ABC News.
A motley career. My favorite press secretary on the Hill for a long time, who's now left and gone to work for a governor, and I think is thinking of going into politics himself, was a great favorite with everybody, because not only did he represent his boss's point of view, but he could imitate his boss, and you could not tell on the telephone which one you were talking to.
The perfect stand-in.
He occasionally would say, well, Linda, I don't know where he is, but if you want a radio commentary, I'm here. I never availed myself of this opportunity, let me say.
It's really changed. I can remember when everybody didn't have a press secretary, and it was considered quite shocking on the House side when a couple of people hired press secretaries, and some of their colleagues said, my God, he's hired somebody to work with the press. It shows that he really just wants to show off. And now, of course, everyone has them.
They're just all over the place these